Hello, welcome to this quick walkthrough of how I use cal.com. It's an amazing tool for availability and scheduling, and I honestly recommend that everyone uses a tool like this, but I do have to quickly say whom it will help the most, so you can save your time if that's not you. The first use case is if you have availabilities that recur very simply and constantly, like if you say, okay, work days, I'm always free at 11 and I would like to easily book meetings with colleagues there, or I'm free every Sunday and I want to use this to coordinate with my friends, stuff like that. Then that's definitely going to help you regardless of how you plan anything else. And then the second use case is if you're a heavy calendar user like me. Ideally, Google Calendar works much better with this than Apple Calendar, and you're constantly updating and your calendar basically knows when you're busy. Then that information is going to save you a lot of time when you plug it into cal.com. Okay, so now let's first look at what it looks like for bookers. That's this page on the right for one of my events. And they go in, and in my case, they have the choice. Do I want it to be a 30-hour meeting? In which case, they're going to have specific options like these. Or do I want it to be a 45-minute meeting? In which case, the options obviously changed based on the total amount that I'm free. It's really important that both you check your settings for time zone and the user checks that they're being shown the right time zone, because I actually wasn't. I had to change it myself. Otherwise, you're going to have a lot of confusion. And then once they've chosen their selected time, which by the way, zoomed in or on mobile might look like this, then they fill out the information based on your settings. We're going to look at that too briefly. And choose, for example, their location. Like maybe they prefer Zoom from my options. Maybe they want to add a guest or write something else. And then confirm. And so now this booking is going to automatically show up in the calendar that I specified. And as you can see, it also even has a custom name that gets automatically filled out with the booking person's information. So I'm having a meeting with myself apparently, and this is my booking person's email address, which is mine. And the person chose Cal Video, which is not exactly true. I'm gonna have to check that. Yeah, and it got the time zone right. They can also just immediately reschedule or cancel if they realize, no. And the booking person can also add it to their calendar really easily if they use one of these services. Okay, now let's look at the back end, which is actually much easier than you'd expect, even though you can customize it a lot, even with the free version. So I only basically move between my event type section. By the way, this might be at the top for you, depending on how you're opening it, and my availability section. This one's really simple. We'll look at it in a bit, but let's start here. These are all the links that I've created for different types of events. So you can think of it as, what do I want to use this for and who is it for? And based on that, to customize. So I have my set of size-based links that are the most generic ones. This is kind of like for anyone. Like if I didn't think of the use case before, and then I realized, oh, I actually also needed a link for this, then I use one of these. Otherwise, I have my custom links for specific work purposes here. For people to immediately pay before they are able to book. It's a really nice feature that you can also use for free, and that's via PayPal, I think. And above this are some secret links that I use for friends and family and stuff like that. And yeah, on the topic of secret links, you can decide which are going to show on your profile and which are going to be hidden. So that's also really handy, so that when people are booking on your page here, for example, and they just click on your profile, they're shown this main page, and you don't want your secret links to be available there, right? For anyone to use. You only want those to be for certain people, and you give them the URL, and that's it. They can't be accessed here. This little description you can also set up yourself in your profile. Again, almost everything is customizable, but you can also just keep it simple and it will work fine too. So let's look into one of my one of my work events that are actually hidden. So you can see a lot of customization options. But don't be scared, I'll keep it simple too. Oh, okay. Maybe that explains why Zoom didn't show up in the booking. These things happen. So the basics page is really quick. Stuff like information, name. You can customize the link here, at least up to just the last part. You can allow multiple durations like I do, or just say, no, I'm going to turn that off. Everyone just gets 30 minutes. And set the locations that you want them to be able to use, whether it's online or just at my music school, for example, or one of them. Okay, every time you make changes, make sure to click save, otherwise it will get lost. At least when you go back here, that will get lost. Okay. Availability is basically just like the container. So even though you might be updating your calendar with all these nice events and it knows exactly when you're busy and when you're free, it might still be that you want to set a frame around that. So, a lot of people don't have, for example, their sleep in their calendar. So if you just set your availability to 24/7 and you send that to someone in the USA and you're in Europe, they might book a lesson at 2 a.m., right? You don't want that. So you can have these containers where you say, I only want it to be from 8 to 12 in my local time, or from 12 to 7:30 p.m. and on Saturdays it's different and stuff like that. So that's what you can edit here in availability, and that's super simple. So I don't think I really need to show you. Once you've set it up, you can keep reusing them for all your different events. So like this one was set to something else that I just changed, but whatever. Okay, actually, yeah, it was set to, obviously, JMS. Okay. And then the only other page that I use is the advanced one. And then we're done. Trying to keep it short. So up here, it's asking you, when someone books, where do you want this booking to go? And so if you have multiple calendars like me, then you decide which one it flows into. And I just leave this checked on. Then you can also specify exactly how you want the event to show up. As you saw, this my event, when I booked it with myself, it immediately replaced this to my name and to my contact information and stuff like that. So that's a really nice and easy way of just copy pasting something from here. They give you these nice variables to use and sticking it here the way you want it to appear in your calendar. So at one glance, you have all this extra information from what the person filled out in the survey. This is the most important part to check that it's correct. I also always leave this to this event type setting. That's very important. And then you select which calendars need to be checked. So I only really use these 3 on Apple. This one was missing. And if I have events there, then it's not going to suggest that time for someone else. It's busy. And then on Google, I also only used 3. One was missing 2. And the cool thing about Google Calendars as well is that you can specify even further when you create an event. Like, for example, this City of Seekers event for me is actually a meeting, so I'm going to set it to busy. I don't want that time to be given to anyone. But it could be that this other event I'm creating for the same project is just for me to know that that's when I plan to work on some stuff on my own. And I want to mark it as free in case a client comes along who is wanting to pay me for an actual appointment, then I want that to take priority, So that's something that you do in your Google Calendar. Just go to Edit Event and check the Busy Free section. And that's another reason why I prefer it much more for these things over Apple Calendar. Okay, and the last annoying section is the booking question. This is a simple section. That's what they fill out. Easy to customize. You can decide whether things are optional or required. Just keep it short and simple for people who hate surveys. And this is the final section. Okay, so you can decide whether an event goes straight into your calendar, no filtering, you just accept anything that people try to book, or whether it requires confirmation, which is, I think, the smart choice. You can decide whether it always requires it, or just if they book last minute and you want to prevent that. And this is also, I think, quite smart to leave on, so that at least in the meantime, between booking and confirmation, that time isn't also given to someone else. That's what this does. And yeah, the rest I pretty much leave as it was. This is a nice little option to translate for people who have a different language. and everything else not really necessary except for these two ones that I just want to talk about briefly. If you have an in-person event, I already mentioned how time zones can create complications if the booking person doesn't realize they have the wrong one and if you don't set the right one. But where it becomes even more critical is if you're actually both living in the same place, then just lock it. Just turn this on and then you'll both see the exact same time and there's no way it can go wrong. That's my quick recommendation. And optimized slots just makes the way in which Cal deals with your availability a lot smarter, in my opinion. If you leave it off, it has like a very stupid and square approach of being like, oh, this free hour is not free anymore because these 10 minutes are busy, and then a whole hour is wasted. If you turn it on, it'll be like, oh yeah, wait a minute, no, this is just 10 minutes. We can book all the way up to there and after that straight away. And that's it, my friends. I really hope that this helped. If you need any more help setting stuff up or have other questions about use cases, connecting calendars, receiving payments, or anything like that, just let me know. I really, really love this stuff, so I would be very curious and would like to see if I can help. All right, thank you. See you in the next one.